Buenas and half a day to our listeners on Guam and in the CNMI. It's now time for Total Health right here on Joy FM Radio, where your questions get answered by health professionals. If you have any health-related questions, we would love to hear from you. Call your questions and comments in at 472-1111 or text or WhatsApp 686-9999. If you're in the CNMI, please call 323-1113. Welcome everybody to Total Health.
Hi and welcome to Total Health. My name is Rose Trina, and in the studio today we have Elena Taneva, nurse practitioner, and her sister, Lilly Kostadinova. I hope I said that right.
Yeah, you did a very good job, Rosie. Okay. Very good. Can you believe it, Rosie? It has been a year since we have done the show together, a year and a half. And it is for the first time that my family is visiting Guam. And I'm so excited because today the topic is on emotional health. Mm-hmm. And as we have been talking about the 13 weeks to love, one of the chapters talks about how we can grow our love towards our siblings, our brothers and our sisters, and how that later on can be transferred to relate to others in a loving and kind way, how we also build friendships because of that. And so I happen to have my sister over here, all the way from Bulgaria, and I am excited to introduce her. Hi, Lilly.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lilly. I'm from Bulgaria. I'm Elena's sister, and I'm mother of two, and I'm married for the most amazing man. Здравейте. This means be healthy in our language. This is the greeting when we met someone the first time.
Yes.
We are so happy. I'm so happy to be to that island. We found fantastic beach, exactly white sands, how it's written in internet. And this is unbelievable, beautiful. We definitely enjoy here in Guam. You are so blessed people living here. Thank you.
Yes, my sister is really excited about the island. She absolutely loves everything. And, you know, many times I say I'm more Chamorro than the Chamorros because I love the island and my sister as well. And my mother as well. So we are so much in love with Guam, and we would like really to help our island to be healthier. And this is how we greet in Bulgarian: be healthy. Здравей, здрасти, Lily. And I'm very excited to have my sister here. Well, Lily, since you're here, we're going to deal with the topic about brothers and sisters. You know, that's a very important topic when we talk about emotional health. It's not just one case that, you know, when the family doesn't go well, where there are problems between siblings that really can stir up the whole atmosphere in the family and can end up even in crimes that can, you know, finish in prison. It is very interesting, the dynamic that we have between our siblings, and we rarely study the topic of emotional health between siblings. Have you ever heard about it, that you really need to take care of your emotional and social bond with your siblings? We don't talk about that. I don't think I have ever spoken about it with my patients, but it is very important. And what we talk about today, Lily, it will be about the social cue. You know, we have intellectual cue, IQ. We have an emotional cue, EQ. We have a spiritual cue, SQ, but we also have a social cue. How good we can be in our environment, how we can communicate in a good way that we can promote our social health, and at the same time, that can bring more benefit to us and to our siblings and our family and our community and our society. So the way we relate to our siblings is increasingly important. Lily, I believe you can relate to me about it because our family, for example, our grandparents and then our parents, they got into a lot of issues related to who is going to inherit more from what we have. I'm sure we are not the first family about it. I'm sure there are so many people that don't talk to their siblings because of issues like that, or they're upset with their parents for not giving them the money that they were expecting. It's a painful topic. But actually, it really starts with the bringing of the siblings. You know, if the siblings are friends, no matter what the parents are gonna give to one or the other, they can always decide to be, to keep things as they are, help each other, share what it has been given to them. And even though our aunties and our uncles have really had a lot of quarrel over what it has been left to one and not has been left to others, we as cousins, we decided that we are not going to continue that war. We could have decided, oh, I don't want to know those relatives of mine. They already took all the money. Nothing was left to us. Now we need to work hard because nothing was passed on us from generations. But we decided, even though some people had benefited, we're not going to play that game. We're going to respect our cousins. Life is short, and there is no time for us to waste on hurt feelings. Of course, it's not pleasant. I'm not undermining when things are not fair. But we as cousins decided we're going to support each other. We're going to spend time together. We're going to enjoy the kids of the children of the children of the children. And we are not going to pass that war as well. And that was a very wise decision, right, Lily? You agree with me? Yes. And we kept it. And we are like harvesting many more fruits from this decision than, opening a new war and not talking to half of our families. As we know in the Bible, the first conflict that happened after Eve ate the forbidden fruit was between Abel and Cain. We didn't have to wait for generations for the trouble to come.
Yeah, it was the first generation.
It was
after
the first
Adam
generation,
and Eve.
just right there, kids.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened, we know the story, and we know how Cain killed Abel. And it was what? Out of jealousy. There is so much jealousy, in us human beings, that unless controlled and unless we learn how to really handle it, it can really end up in a terrible situation. I don't know what would have been the generation from Abel, but we don't have it because Abel was gone. And so Cain decided to take his life out of jealousy. He said, how come God loves him more than me, and I'm working so hard and God is not blessing me the same way he's blessing my brother? And he was so outraged that he even took his life. Well, can we think that they were friends?
When I think about that, I feel like just me and what I surmise, I feel like Cain and Abel probably weren't friends, because Cain's response to God, when God was asking him about Abel, Cain was saying, "Am I my brother's keeper?"
Right, am I brother's keeper, which shows like, wow, actually, they weren't having a very strong bond.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have the bonding lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Some people just never get that bond. I can't say Adam and Eve didn't do their job. I don't know. It's very difficult to be a parent, and there is no a manual to teach you how to be a parent. However, it seems that they were like from young, they just took different route. And, one was of obedience, the other one was of disobedience, and we know how it ended. But jealousy is very pertinent to humans, and we need to learn how to control it. As we were growing, we were three sisters together, me and my sister Lilly, and we have another sister from my mom's first marriage. And so I can't say we really were good friends just because we grew up in a different age. My older sister is 14 years older than me. My sister is younger. So my friends were different. Her friends were different. At some point, we shared similar friends. But we kind of turned away with friends and just weren't as connected. And I have said some harmful, hurtful things to my sister that she still remembers. And, she also has said things that until today, I'm fighting, and I'm trying to prove that I'm not what, once upon a time it was said to me. So there are so many dynamics that we're going to look into today. But overall, even though things can become really out of spiral, very, very difficult, there are so many benefits of having siblings. You do have siblings, right?
Yeah, I have a bunch of brothers. But I'm also the oldest and I'm the only girl. And I don't know, I'm very interested in today's show. I would really like to know about the emotional health and sibling health.
Okay, so I will start in order not to keep you wondering with like some facts from the research. Okay, so siblings help you learn life skills. Do you agree with that statement?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what has happened to my sisters, if they shared with me, that becomes my life experience. And I know what happened to them and I might avoid it or I might benefit from that, learn those skills. Then we know that siblings help you learn social skills. You know, a family that has 10 kids, they know how to communicate better than a child that, you know, just stays with the parents. I'm not saying it's impossible. Everything is possible, you know, when you want to develop your social health, mental health and emotional health. However, it does help. It does help to have an older, a younger sister or sister your age, a twin, and that you can develop those skills, that you're talking to each other. And I always wonder, it's so nice to have more siblings. Because if I want to do something and one sister doesn't want to do it, then another sister might agree to come and do it with me. So you kind of have options, and life is less boring when you have siblings. So apart from learning skills, it is so good that you have this benefit of a birth order. Especially, it's important in Guam, in Micronesia, to have this order, right?
Yeah.
Okay, he's the oldest. Let's listen to the oldest. In some cultures, it's not as prevalent, but you're kind of a few empowered when you're the oldest. I'm the oldest of me and my sister Lilly, and you're kind of a few empowered to say, don't do that and do that, like being kind of in the place of the parent. And that helps you to have some assertiveness later on in life.
Yeah, with me and my brothers, with me being the oldest, I'm in my late 20s and then my youngest brother is 10. So whenever I'm with either the 10-year-old or the 15-year-old, I generally, like, they just listen. And then even the older ones, even though they're in their 20s as well, if I ask for something, like, I don't know, I feel like my brothers respect me, and that's something that I really appreciate from them.
Right.
Yeah.
There's so many benefits of having siblings, and we'll continue with them right after the break.
Okay. That's the music, so we'll go ahead and go to our break. If you are on Guam, you've got a question and you want to call it in, go ahead and ask us. On Guam, you can call us at 671-472-1111. That's 671-472-1111. In the CNMI, that's in Saipan, Tinian, or Rota, call us at 670-323-1113. That's 670-323-1113. You can also send us a message via text, WhatsApp, or Signal at 671-686-9999. That's 671-686-9999. It's free from the CNMI. Don't go anywhere. Total Health Live will be right back after this short break.
When I get an owie, my mom puts Band-Aids on it, and it feels better. But sometimes she gets owies too. Like one time she was crying, but I couldn't see any owies. She says when you're growing up, sometimes things happen that make your heart hurt.
Just because we grow up doesn't mean we don't get owies anymore. They just happen more on the inside. If you're hurting, Joy FM is the first aid kit for your heart. Let us know how we can help.
Si Joe Mossy, and thanks for listening to Total Health on Joy FM. We want to hear from you. Call in with your health-related questions at 472-1111. In Guam or in the CNMI, the number to call is 323-1113. Text or WhatsApp us at 686-9999. And now, back to the show.
Hi, and welcome back to Total Health Live. My name is Rose Trina, and in the studio today we have Elena, Taneva, nurse practitioner, and Lilly, Kostadinova. If you're just tuning in, we're talking about emotional health, but we're addressing specifically sibling health. And our two hosts today our siblings, their sisters.
Right, Rosie. So we were talking how nice is to beat loneliness when you have siblings, and that you can have play dates with your siblings, go to different places and just enjoy. It's so nice when you have different hobbies, and I do have a lot of hobbies. So if one sister doesn't want to come with me, the other one comes with me. That's so wonderful. And also, siblings can be babysitters.
Yeah.
Have you been a babysitter?
Yeah.
My you have.
Mhm.
My sister has a 3 years old and 1 years old, and the 3 years old from time to time takes the responsibility, to kind of tell the 1 years old what to do and what not to do. It's already a babysitter, right, Lily? Ines. Yes,
Yeah, it is. I would like to mention that, we grow up friends. We are born together. We've been educated together. But later on, for example, with the siblings, they have different hobbies and different things to do or live apart. And there is a situation when they don't start not to like so much each other because they connected with friends. They thinking that they are much more closest with the friend, not with the siblings and the family. And then there is some like a verse when they say that it's better just to share much more presents, just to be in very kind relationship. But this is only look like
very superficial, just sending presents and staying, in distance, in touch, but not really being close in nature.
And this is because the Bible said that in the last time the sin will be so much, it will overcome everything, but the God blessings, the grace, the God grace will even overcome the sin. This means that if we love each other, if we have sympathy, empathy about each other, this is only because the God grace.
Because of God's grace.
Because
I
of
agree.
God's grace.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, he could change everything. He didn't save Ava.
Yes.
Yeah, he didn't save, but this should be exam for everyone else. Because if we serve to God in different ways, always one of them, it's not wrong. It's wrong.
Right. But, also we help each other grow. We help each other grow because you might not know all the truth and somebody else might know it. And so we have to pull each other, to the full knowledge and obedience and, to grow in that total health we're talking about. Yes, exactly. So I'm continuing forward. Siblings can actually build a better mental health for you. I have noticed that, there have been times in my life, sisters especially can help you beat depression. There are studies that show that I have been in moments that I had very hard times, and I'll call my sister from time to time. And even though we don't talk on a daily basis, and she will try to snap me out of the depression. Come on, Elena. Why you're in that situation? Poor me. Yeah, get up yourself, embrace yourself, face the reality, be grateful for what you have. And some words that have been very, very encouraging in times of really a dear need. Then, having siblings now means that you will have uncles and aunties and cousins later. On one side, that's really, really good because you have someone in a different country that you can visit or, you can talk to them. Maybe one of them becomes a very famous person, politician. I don't know. I'm just, inventing. But on the other hand, the more people are there, the more trouble you might have, the more problems you can have. And especially I see it, when a parent dies and many siblings start arguing at that point. But I personally like the fact that I have uncles and, aunties I could turn to. And I think that's the same experience with you, right?
Yeah, I don't think that Chamorro people has this problem. I asked Chamorro people, is it Guam safe place? And they said, of course it's safe place. They said, so nobody's going to take my children. Of course nobody's going to take your children. And you're gathering with not only with friends, but all the siblings and all the children, and look like so together. And this is something what we definitely could take from Guam. I'm really impressed how together and that they live together, not only time to time, but
Constantly. Right.
Yeah.
The hospitality, they're all
today I met a lovely couple, and I said, "Oh, please tell me which beach is fantastic, where I should go." And she said, "Oh, this is my brother." This means that brother and sister, they went together to the beach. I always love when brother and sisters, mother and son or daughter, they prefer to go to do shopping, to drink some juice, somewhere, and just to spend
time
the most of the
together.
time together, but not with friends, not to go to the party or somewhere. Even in the churches, it's lovely when 10 members of the family they come apart from only one. Always it's welcome, but we love the families. We are just connected. We are we have gravity about being with family.
Correct.
Yeah, then we feel much more secure, much more confident. Yeah, you never fail because they always will clap the hands and say you're fantastic.
Right. There is a bias, right? You're kind of a you can choose your friends, but you can't unchoose like your siblings. You have to live with them. You have to learn how to live with them. And many times they're your best fans and best supporters.
Yeah. So our job is to work there, to create, to build, to keep, to maintain the family.
Right, the relationship.
Yeah, this is the family, the marriage, and the health reform and the Sabbath. They are the three institutions coming from Eden.
Yes.
Eden.
From the Garden of Eden.
Yeah, we are definitely responsible for this.
Yeah, sure. And also, having more siblings, actually, science has shown that it lowers the chance of divorce. You know,
Oh, that's interesting.
That's interesting because the family really wants you to be happy. The family really wants you to work out things between yourself in the family before you decide, oh, it's not going to work.
Yeah, God really knew because, like Lily was saying, marriage, family, and the Sabbath are what came from the Garden of Eden, what He instituted. So that makes sense then that divorce is lower because I guess people who come from healthy families will value family more in marriage. Is that like I'm just thinking out loud, but go ahead and pick it up.
No,
Yeah.
this is what it is. You know, we're concerned about the family life of our siblings. We also get involved.
Yeah.
You know, then you'll call the husband, you'll call the wife, you'll start to see how things can be worked out. So science has shown that. Of course, in different families it works out differently, but this is what studies show. Okay, more things going forward. Also, it provides more means for the parents to be taken care of later on in life. You know, of course, there is also a lot of drama coming with that, a lot of, misunderstanding. But when there are 2 or 3, 4 brothers, there will be more chances for us to take care of our parents.
I read on Facebook that husband and wife, they are talking and said, "Oh, we cannot manage with our 2 children. They are fighting all the time." And the man said, "So it's time for the third. They need to play with someone." Yeah.
It's time to play with
For the third child.
Oh, the third child, so they can play with someone, right?
Yeah,
right.
so always the family's answer. I mean, we have to manage everything in the family.
Right.
We don't need babysitter.
Oh.
We don't need nanny. We need someone in the family to repair the
situation.
The
Right.
situation.
You're right, because it does teach you to have better conflict resolution.
I agree. Growing up, just picking it up from personal experience, just growing up and then having so many of us, there's me, then my 4 brothers. So having so many of us, I think between me and the 3 older ones, there definitely was a lot more conflict as kids just because we were so close in age. But then as we got older, we learned how to work it out. And I feel like as adults, our sibling, like our relationship as brother and sister, is a whole lot better now. I feel it's healthier, especially since we also have the younger ones who are 15 and 10. It's a different dynamic, but I think because we're a little older, we've matured a little more. Not to say that we don't still argue and like have disagreements, but we just go about it differently now that we're adults.
Oh, right. And the more kids and children, siblings you have, the more problems you have to solve, or the more problems you learn how to solve. And, it makes you very resilient in life and builds more social skills that you wouldn't have them in the first place, have not there been all those problems. And, of course, yes, Lily?
Ellie, not sure if you're going to talk about this, about money and siblings. I would like to say that if we have business, family business, always we know that the businesses grow up much more quicker and nicer and stronger when we have in the family.
Support from each other. Yeah, sometimes
and the money, if the money are in the family,
within
it's
the
much more
family
better.
itself, right. Sometimes that's a reason for very sour relationships, But you're right. If it is done correctly, the family would certainly is there to support you in the first place. And there's so many successful businesses. There is no big business that we don't know that not only one sibling works, but two siblings and so on that have made a big corporation. And it's very important to have a confidant in the business. Right. No, you're right. I wasn't planning to mention that, so that's very good. And it makes you more empathetic. When something painful happens to your sibling and they're going through a hard time, you're like living it. It's like it's even more hurtful than if you yourself had gone through that situation, and you feel so much more the pain for the brother. And when you see someone in life later on that is going through the same thing, you already have empathy for that, because your brother has gone through that, your sister has gone through that, and you can give a word of comfort. I'm sure that there are many more benefits. Also, it improves your chances of having a happy marriage. It boosts your morale in life. It helps you to have a healthier lifestyle. Let's talk about that, being in total health. Many times, my sister will be like, make sure you're eating healthy so you can stay, in the right weight. Or my mom will say something, or, my other sister. We're trying to help each other to be healthy. And if someone is eating unhealthy, the other is like, why are you eating now that? Why did you go to the shop? And why did you buy that? So we kind of tease each other. We pester on each other on our wrong habits. And that's so amazing, because we would like to keep each other healthy, accountable, and in good health.
Yes. And, just to say something real quick, I find myself in the same situation too with my brothers, because my brothers also remind me every once in a while, Rose, that's not good. What you're eating isn't good. You should eat something else, Or, Rose, good job. But that's the music. So we're going to go ahead and go to our break. We're about halfway through today's Total Health show. So if you have a question and you want to call it in, call us on Guam at 671-472-1111. That's 671-472-1111. In the CNMI, you can call us at 670-323-1113. That's 670-323-1113. You can also send us a message via text, WhatsApp, or Signal at 671-686-9999. That's 671-686-9999. It's free from the CNMI. Don't go anywhere. Total Health Live will be right back after the break.
This is a 30-second Bible story from Joy FM.
This tower is enormous. Certainly we will reach God soon.
The largest undertaking in Earth's history was being fulfilled. Mankind assumed they were equal with God. They were wrong.
Hey, could you hand me a brick?
Sure.
Hey, quit clowning around. Come on and go and
To find out more about verbal confusion that scattered the people of Earth so they could once again trust God, visit Genesis 11, 5-8.
Welcome back. You're listening to Total Health on Joy FM. Call in with your health-related questions to 472-1111 in Guam. If you live in the CNMI, we want to hear from you too. call 323-1113 or text or WhatsApp us at 686-9999. And now, here's more Total Health.
Hi, and welcome back to Total Health. If you're just tuning in, we're about halfway through today's show. Today, we're talking about emotional health, specifically relating to sibling health. And our hosts today are Elena Taneva and Lilly Kostadinova and their sisters.
Right, Rosie. We were talking about all those benefits you can reap from having siblings. If you are one child, a lone child, that's okay. You can still build the same relationship, science says, with other friends. But by all means, we promote friendship. So we're kind of God plans for us to be in this training school, relational school, that we not only grow in skills and knowledge and attitude and love as we have been studying, but also we grow in relationships, how we can relate to others. And you know what, Rosie? There is no graduation from that. You don't graduate. You constantly learn what you need to say, what you should avoid saying, how you can be more empathetic to others. And that's wonderful. In the Bible, we have many examples. Some of them are not as good about relationships between brothers and sisters or brothers alone. And we already mentioned the famous, Bible siblings, the Cain and Abel, and we know how it ended. And then we have also Joseph and his brothers. What a difficult situation, right, Lily?
They hate him.
They hated him so much that they even sold him to the Egyptians. They just didn't want to have anything to do with him.
Even worse, to kill him.
Yeah, they were planning on that, but one of them just, decided to step in and defend him. But the whole story of Joseph and the brothers is just so painful. I'm sure this is not the only story in the world.
It is already. Sorry.
They're more, many people suffer because of painful relationship between siblings. Then what about Esau and Jacob? Esau and Jacob, also that relationship was a very difficult one, to the point that Esau was seeking to kill Jacob and he couldn't sleep a whole night. He was fighting with the angel because he was afraid to meet the face of his brother. Then we continue with Rachel and Leah. What situation there, right? To fight for the same husband, and one knowing to be the favorite one of the husband, and the other one was the one that can bring offsprings, and the other one can't. If somebody can read their stories nowadays, they'll say, what a messed up family. So many kids, so many wives, and then another concubine from one life, and then the other one. Like, look at the whole family, the whole dynamic. But God has a way of strengthening every single family. And even though sometimes we do wrong things, God can bring them into something incredible, like the story of Joseph. He became the second after the Pharaoh in Egypt. And he had he gave so many blessings to the whole nation. Okay, other stories. Moses and Aaron and Miriam. Moses was God chosen. He did so much. But even though Aaron and Miriam supported him, they turned against him in the most painful moment when he was married and he was enjoying his firstborn, and they were just so much against his wife. It's not the first time that siblings can actually turn against you because of the partner you have chosen. Right? And that also can be very a difficult situation. Then we continue with Ammon and Tamar and Absalom.
That one was really... That was a really bad story. But these are real people.
Real people, real stories. They happened and they are still happening. There are so many, in the news, every time you hear terrible things. Somebody killed someone, and many times that can be a parent, it can be a sibling, and this is when it hurts the most. You have to be suffering really deeply in your heart and soul in order to do a crime like that. And it does start with young age, with your upbringing, with your relational behavior in the family and in the community and society. Peter and Andrew, another one, but that's a good one because they were really very competitive, but they were trying to be good for heaven. James and John, the two brothers, even the mother wanted to bring them to be very, very close to God in heaven. Mary, Martha, and Lazarus. You can see there are so many siblings mentioned in the Bible, and with every story, there's so much moral coming out of it. Lily, am I missing anybody that you might think of?
Definitely the brothers of Jesus.
The brothers of Jesus. Wow. We say that in a way nobody is really recognized in their own family. And nobody would think that something good will come out of Nazareth. But Jesus was that example, and his brothers did not believe in his mission. He grew up in the same family. He was God. He was doing miracles. He was going through different places all around Israel, treating people, helping people. But his brothers themselves, they did not accept him. They did not. And that's God himself. That's a very good example. And
we just share this information and we talk between each other, but God, he saw everything. And when the siblings are fighting and they are in a war, the parents are struggling about this because they don't have to choose side.
They don't have to choose side. They are really impartial. They love their children equally, and so is God. God loves us equally. He's not partial. He wants the best for all of us. Yeah. But we humans, we just have, from time to time, not always the right behavior. Yes, and so thank you, Lily, for giving that example as well. So many dynamics. But we can grow. We can grow in understanding and relationship with our brothers and sisters. We cannot choose them, but we can learn how to work with them. I'm not always in a good, understanding of my sister's perception, my oldest sister, but we try to understand each other. We as humans, we fight a lot with others and with siblings because we don't understand each other. And we don't see that it doesn't need to be the way you think. There is not always what you see is wrong or right. It's just different. And we have to have and develop this tolerance to what is different. And we can develop it. We also have to sit down from time to time and share some happy memories together. Me and my sister, we have quite a lot of happy memories together. And when we sit down sometime and we just recall all those moments, we cannot stop giggling. And we giggle and giggle and giggle, and nobody can understand our language because it comes out of experience. And so I love laughing with my sister the most. Are you?
Yeah, I find that even though my brothers and I are so different, I think just having grown up, we end up with similar senses of humor. Like our sense of humor is very similar. So there are things that we find funny and we'll laugh and other people won't understand. But then I also want to go back to what you were saying about developing a tolerance, because I find that this was something that I had to learn with my brothers, because me being the oldest, I was very much the type of person that was like, I'm the oldest, you need to listen to me, I'm right because I know more than you. But then I think after I got older, and then they're like just in situations where you're arguing, and sometimes arguing is not necessarily, there's a healthy way, I feel like there's a healthy way to resolve conflict. So when my brothers and I don't see eye to eye, I had to basically put away my pride and be like, Rose, even though you're the oldest, you don't always know everything. And so I think when I did that, with my brothers, when I was talking to them, I was able to see things from their perspective, even if we didn't agree. And then there were also times where I would listen to them and I'd realize, Rose, you were wrong. You need to apologize. So I think, I don't know. I can't remember what your question was, but I really believe that having siblings helps you with conflict resolution, even if you don't feel like you and your siblings are the same type of person, you guys don't see eye to eye, maybe your personalities are really different, it's still possible for there to be conflict resolution and agreement and even love.
And it's actually easier because you do have feeling for that person.
Yeah.
You know, when you argue with somebody or you hear something on the TV and you disagree, okay. But when in the family, you kind of try yourself, an extra effort you put to put yourself into their shoes and understand them. Me and my sister, we don't always agree. To be honest, we disagree most than we agree.
so rarely disagree.
We rarely disagree. Okay. So you can see, even here, we disagree. And so that happens quite often. And usually I have my opinion, she has her opinion, and we just try to overpower each other, what's right and what's not. But at the end of the day, we're sisters, so we can't go anywhere. We just have to accept that we have different opinions.
Ellie, you didn't mention that we have our own language.
Oh, yeah. Wow, how can I forget that?
Nobody would understand us.
So me and my sister, we, as young, we developed a language that only we understand. And so when we go somewhere, we just talk to each other in that language. So nobody gets it. We can actually demonstrate it. And in that language, you can speak in any language. I can say it in Spanish. I can say it in English, and she'll understand what I mean. So, for example, I will let her tell me something, and I'll tell you what she's telling me. Okay, let's demonstrate how we can understand each other, when we won't understand each other.
Ne kere kakara de kara koroti kiri de kerem na kara po karas le kere tra kara di kiri o koroto koro de kara kiri kerem sokorok.
Okay, so she told me, let's go to the beach after the radio shows and have some nice treat.
That sounds like Pig Latin, where you put like a hard consonant between everything?
Yeah. You can see it, but it kind of takes a little bit of a skill.
Take it. Word.
Okay.
Letters.
Yeah, and so exactly. So I'm gonna say something. So let's see what she's gonna understand. So the reason for that sharing that is that we actually really wanted always to be able to communicate, even when people are asking us something. We would just have this mini discussion between us, and they wouldn't know what we say to each other.
Yeah, I try to teach my husband to do this, but he's not very keen. So this is our brand.
See, this is no
one should be involved.
So this is something between siblings alone.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's the music. So we're gonna go ahead and go to a break real quick. And this is going to be our last break of the day. So if you have a question and you want to call it in on Guam, call us at 671-472-1111. That's 671-472-1111. In the CNMI, call us at 670-323-1113. That's 670-323-1113 inside Pantinian and Rhoda. You can also send us a message via text, WhatsApp, or Signal at 671-686-9999. That's 671-686-9999. It's free from the CNMI. Don't go anywhere. Total Health Live will be right back after the break.
Wouldn't it be nice if all of life's tests would come pre-labeled so we would know what's going on?
Many of you may recognize this test. It's a variation on the classic PC&D examination.
But in real life, we just get blindsided and we don't know what's going on. Sometimes we feel we're caught in some big cosmic scientific experiment. Sometimes you reach the end of your rope. That's when you find out what you're really made of, when that little voice says,
"You want to quit, quit. but he's trying to stop you.
Well, you can't grow by quitting. So here's a new game plan for handling tests. Don't quit. Then you've passed the main test. The book of James in the Bible teaches that there's so much good that can come out of growing through trials and tests that if you got the big picture, you'd actually have a different attitude when tests come.
Thank you!
Well, it does say you can actually find joy in those tests if you know God's plan. Life will bring tests and trials, and you can't grow without them. Don't go looking for temptation to test, but when they come, try to have a better attitude about it.
Isn't this a conflict of interest?
Don't try to face life's test without the Bible. It'll be like taking the exam before you even get the lesson. From
Joy FM.
And we're back with more Total Health. Give us a call with your medical questions. Number to call in Guam is 472-1111. If you're in the CNMI, the number to call is 323-1113. Or you can text or WhatsApp us at 686-9999. Now back to the program.
Hi, and welcome back to Total Health. We've only got a few minutes left of today's show, so we're just going to jump right back in.
Yeah, we actually had a caller, and the caller is saying something so valuable that, you can walk away from friends, maybe even parents, but co-workers, but you cannot go away from family, from siblings. You cannot. You have them, they're given. You did not choose what family you're going to be born in, but you are born in that family for a reason. And we can make it work, right, Lily? Yes.
Always.
It's always right. Okay, we don't have much time, but I would think it would be appropriate just to share one story of our life in a way how maybe I influenced my sister for good. And Lily is keen to share her story about being young and being into, because of peer pressure, getting into drugs. And then the resolution from the story. Lily, please share it with the audience.
Yeah, I will start with this, that in the Bible, God save personal, 1, 2, 3 people. Then, in the end, he's going to save whole families. And in the end, the miracle will be that he's going to save one whole church, one whole nation. But now we are in the stage for the family. And I would like to share, Ellie had really huge impact over my life. Because when I was only 13 in Bulgaria, then Eastern Europe, it was communism time. And it was really tough for anyone. If you are young, you can only to study and to take drugs and to go to parties. So I choose to study and to go to parties. In the meantime, I start taking very serious drugs like cocaine and heroin. First was the cocaine and heroin. So one day I went to the disco nightclub. It was Friday evening. I knew that my sister, she went to church Friday evening. And then something really nice happened to me. I was so upset already about my very miserable life, and I have only choice to die or to continue very pure and believe in God. And when I was in the disco nightclub, I saw the people who are empty are they, and I said, God, please, if you really believe, please help me to know you. Please help me not to have appetite about the all these awful things like drugs and alcohol and cigarette and even meat and this kind of stuff. And then in the morning when I woke up, I didn't have this appetite. And my friend said, Lily, would you like your coffee with your cigarette? And I said, no, thank you. I'm not going to take anymore. They said, don't worry, she's drunk. She would never ever will stop this. And then I was with so fresh mind. I remembered what I promised to God previous night, and I just went through the neighborhood, and I was dressed with very short skirt, very like a sexy dresses, and everybody said, look at that girl, she's drinking so much, she's not going in a good way, one day probably she will die because of her alcohol, drugs and whatever. But I went in the church, I went at home, and my sister was there, and I said, where are you going? She said, I'm going to church. And I said, can you take me with you? And this was our great moment in our our life. After that, our mom come with us. So God helps, God bless even one blessed, and after that another and another. This is the huge chain what God could create. So we never ever have to estimate the siblings, the relationship between siblings. Otherwise we could be only friends but never siblings. Unfortunately, we could be the best friends and we could be the strongest enemy. And why we could be enemy? All the blessings God give it to me, he can give it to you, and he's not going to stop anything good from you and anything good from me. So all my blessings I have to share with you, and then when we share, they actually increase.
Yeah, wow. Okay, that was quite a lot of a deep story. I also felt emotional about it, and I actually never knew that I have made such an impact in my sister's life until recently. She had to talk in a gathering in London, and so she shared how she came out of her addiction to drugs and alcohol, and I never knew that just inviting her to come to church would be something that would change her life forever.
Yeah.
And I wanted you to share it publicly, maybe. Yes.
When Jacob passed through the lake, the river, passed through the river, the last night he was fighting with Jesus, with the angels, and he said, I'm not going to let you go till the moment you bless me. And so Ellen G. White, she said that this was the greatest moment when Jacob was with the strongest belief in himself. And then when I crossed our neighborhood for the last time, when I was taking drugs and whatever, nobody knew that already I'm so changed, returned, renewed person inside. And I had just power to reach my place, my home, where I know that my sister is waiting for me. So God is waiting us always, and we are very connected, we are very gathering, so we have to stay together and never to think to cheat each other. Don't cheat me, I'm jealous.
Yes. Wow. Okay. Maybe Rosie, you can take it from here.
I don't know. I'm listening to Lily and I'm listening to you, and I don't know. I'm just so touched. Listening and hearing how Lily really appreciates her older sister, and then also hearing how much of an impact you made on her life as a Christian. It just makes me reflect.
I actually started thinking that, you don't have to be a prodigal son. You can be a prodigal brother. You can be a prodigal sister. You can always return where you're loved, when you're cared for. Family is supposed to give you all that. Yeah, of course, there are many families that things are not going that way, but we always have the opportunity to come back to God. God will always take care of us. He will always provide for us in our even most difficult times. And God, in the Bible it says, please live with others, as much as possible in true understanding and love, cherish between each other, charity, support each other. Actually, the verse goes like that: blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. God calls us to resolve the conflicts and the misunderstandings in the families when they arise. If it is possible, as much as depends on you, live peacefully with all men. Isn't that wonderful?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Jesus say, I don't call you slaves, I call you brothers. And everybody who believe in Jesus, that we are together, so we are all children of God Father.
Right.
And so even you.
And anybody that you don't even know.
You are my sister. And I shouldn't be indifferent about you. All your cares actually should be mine. And if I help you, I definitely must help you.
Right. When you realize that we have a common background, that we are all coming from the same place, I should not be indifferent to you, and I should care for you. I should care for the children in Haiti. I should care for the people in Ukraine and even in Russia. I should care for people in Yemen and other places, because we are all brothers and sisters. We are meant to grow relationally towards everyone. But when you have a very good hardcore, good family, and that can really turn upside down the world with love. It starts in the family.
This will change our life and our mind, and always we will see empathy and beautiful things around us.
Right.
The achievement, your achievement, they works very good for me.
Yeah, this is what my sister was saying. Why are we fighting? Like, whatever God is gonna give it to you, nobody can take it from you. Many times we are jealous. We're trying to compete to prove who is better than the other. And even if you prove that you're better than the other, so what? What happens? What are the benefits of that? And but why not, when somebody achieves something and get to a really high place, why don't you rejoice with that person? And of course, as every person, I've gone through jealousy, but I also learn when I see that somebody's maybe doing something better than me, or they're smarter than me, and I can learn something from them. Let's embrace it. Let's embrace each other's differences. Let's love each other as brothers and sisters. Let's see how much more impact we can make for this society and, humanity, than just to take care of ourselves and our own needs and, our own job and whatever it is just in our circle. Well, we have only 2 minutes. Lily, would you like to share anything else? With Guam, I know you'll be gone in a few weeks, but I'm so privileged to have my sister with me today, the radio show. Thank you so much for your contribution.
We see the consequences after the hurricane, and I can't believe exactly how this island was looking before that. It's so beautiful even now, and the people are really hardworking. They done so much miracle only in our garden. So I can't believe how they are so dedicated to their job, and they really works.
Right, they really.
Yes,
Chamorro people are
yeah,
really.
Chamorro people. I'm impressed about them. When I see Chamorro people, I always want to talk with them, and I always run. Wait! I would like to ask you something.
Yes. And so it is impressive how much people decided to help each other, especially this time of typhoon, acting like real brothers and sisters. We're still seeing the aftermath of the typhoon, but it's so amazing when everybody's stretching a hand to their neighbors, because we are all together in the same boat, in the same storm. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's the end of today's show. So we just want to say to everybody listening, thank you for tuning in today. Thank you, Elena. Thank you, Lily, for coming in. Tune in again next week, Wednesday, for more Total Health Live.
Be sure to check with your doctors before making any sudden life changes discussed today. Total Health is brought to you in partnership with Guam Seventh-day Adventist Clinic, where health is their mission. We look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. Thank you and si Juas Masi for listening to Total Health right here.